Hey, my fragrance friends, thanks so much for joining me for another haul video here in the middle of December of 2021. We are in the middle of the holiday season, so I wanted to take a quick second, maybe 30 seconds, to say to you as viewers, as peers here on YouTube, as fragrance friends and family, thank you so much for a fabulous year. It's been such a journey and such a joy meeting all of you, even if it's just virtually or in the comments. Love interacting with you, love hearing your thoughts on fragrances and sometimes life. We talk about a lot of things in the comments, and I appreciate you weighing in. Even if you disagree with me, it's totally fine. Love hearing your thoughts, and I'm just grateful that you're here enjoying this journey with me. Oh my God, there's a huge wasp in here, of course. Just ruining my holiday time. I bet it's going to be attracted to this ring light in just a second, and you guys are going to see me hightail it out of this room real quick. Yeah, anyway, I hope that you have a wonderful, safe, enjoyable, rewarding, reflective holiday season. I always find that the end of the year into the new year is that time when I am, one, the most grateful. I try to practice gratitude every day, even on my crankiest days when I'm complaining about the world and something as small as a paper cut seems to ruin existence. I try to remember to take a minute to just be grateful for the people in my life and for all the blessings that are all around us if we just open our eyes and look. Now the wasp has made its way to the back window, and so I'm just going to ask you all to pray retrospectively here for me, since you're watching this video in the future, that wasp does not find its way over to me. We're going to have a problem if that happens. Anyway, back to the holiday cheer. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, happy whatever it is that you celebrate. May you be blessed this end of year and have a moment to reflect on all that is wonderful and bright and merry. Let's get to talking about some fragrances. We're going to kick off right away with a stunner of a fragrance that I am so glad I finally have. Let me take a second to thank Lulu here on YouTube. She is at the channel called Lulu, and she has another channel called Lulu's World. She sent me, very generous, thank you so much, Lulu, a number of decants, including Attar Khaltat Night. Khaltat Night in this gorgeous Attar. It's not Attar. Let's try that again. Take two. She sent me Khaltat Night by Attar. And it looks like this. This is an Eau de Parfum concentration. This I would describe as Boucheron's Ambre d'Alexandrie meets Angel's Share. There's something really deep and luscious and ambery about this. You get cherry, you get cinnamon, you get vanilla, and there's also an apple note in here. It's my scent of the day. I couldn't wait to put it on. It's a little musky. It does have a lot of the Angel's Share vibe, but with even like a deeper, stronger base like Ambre d'Alexandrie has, and it's perfect for cold weather. Gorgeous fragrance, and I smell really good today, you guys. This is a winner. I also saw on a really great sale and snatched up Armani Code Absolu. I have Armani Code Cashmere, which is a love for me. It's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. And I have had Armani Code in the past and really liked it. Heard a lot of people talking about this Absolu. I would describe this, I like it a lot. This is really a wonderful fragrance. Let me start with that. The husband likes it, so it's automatically a winner. It's a really interesting fragrance. It has citrus at the top. I think it's neroli, and there's some ginger in here. And then in the middle, you get white florals. There's tuberose and I think some other florals. And then in the base, it's very, very super sweet, vanilla and tonka bean. You get a lot of the like a creamy, luscious, really sweet tonka bean sort of smell. Even though this is a citrusy floral, it does come across to me a little bit gourmand because of the vanilla and the tonka bean in the base. It is incredibly sweet. Look at how this bottle looks in this light. It wasn't doing that on the day that I tried it. It's just something about the way that the ring light and maybe the lights over there are reflecting in this. But yeah, this is a winner. I did try this on recently as a scent of the day, and it lasted me a good half a day and then got really soft after that. And I'm okay with that. For me, if you last 4 to 6 hours, I'm super happy. Anything past that, I consider to be very long lasting. Anything under 2 hours just upsets me. So Armani code Absolu, wonderful pickup, white floral, citrus, gourmand, sweet fragrance, very sweet. So recently I picked up 3 fragrances from Orientica, and I talked about those in my last haul. All of those were beautiful fragrances. I saw Mia Mirella on Instagram post about a 4th fragrance from Orientica that I got really curious about. I had seen it, wasn't sure if I wanted to grab it. I call her my scent twin because we like a lot of the same fragrances. And so she posted about it. I knew I had to have it. It is Oud Saffron, and it comes in that same gaudy cage that the red and the white versions of this come in. Yeah, this is what I call deliciously gaudy or gaudily delicious. I don't know what to make of this packaging. This smells a lot like Oud Bouquet to me. I swear there's some kind of rose note in here. There's some vanilla, but I get mostly saffron and like these oudy notes, woody notes, maybe even some musk. It is quite beautiful. I would say it's maybe a softer version of Oud Bouquet. I recently, like a few months ago, purchased Oud 36 Nuit. Looks like this. And that one is almost like an Oud Bouquet dupe, except even stronger. Like, can you get stronger than Oud Bouquet? Yes, you can, and it's in this fragrance. And that one leans slightly masculine. This one, I would say, is maybe even a slightly lighter version of Oud Bouquet. Okay, I have to tell you that I have 4 others from this line. It is Borouj, and I have Gravity, which has become one of my all-time favorites. L'Ambassade Oud, Perlador, and Spiritus are the ones that I have. I think this is the newest one, but I'm not sure if it's actually new or if I just learned about it and a few others of us out here just learned about it. But a fragrance friend out there, a viewer, gave me the heads up that this is available. Thank you so much. It is called Modernity, and it comes in this really gorgeous purple bottle. I had a really hard time finding notes for this. I would describe this as shampooey and lipsticky and peppery all mixed together. It's a lot fresher than anything in the rest of the line, but it still has a lot of depth and oomph and complexity. I did manage to find one website out there that had some notes. So I'm going to read these to you. In the top there is, and I don't know if this is real or not, y'all. I don't know if this is reliable. So take it with a grain of salt. Hyacinth, pineapple at the top, and in the middle, iris, which makes sense. That's probably giving me that lipsticky feel in here. Jasmine, pink pepper, and in the base, musk, vetiver, amber, vanilla, and patchouli. Do I get patchouli in here? Not really. In fact, I even get something a little slightly green in the base here. I would say this gives me like a high-end shampoo. I'm not talking about like the Pantene kind of shampoo smell. I'm talking about like a spa shampoo mixed with some pepper, like I said, and definitely like this makeup-y, lipsticky vibe. Maybe even a hint of woodiness in the background. I think this is gorgeous, and it plays very well on skin, and the bottle, as with all the other bottles, is just to die for. Modernity. Next we have Mon Paris Intensement. Mon Paris Intensement. I find this to be an incredibly feminine fragrance. Very, very girly. Look at me. It's a floral, fruity, sweet fragrance. You get pear in here, you get rose, you get vanilla. It's a lot like if Victoria's Secret fragrances grew up and got just a little bit more mature but stayed super girly, kind of what this reminds me of. I could see this being a mass appealing fragrance, right? If someone wants to smell feminine and pretty, it reminds me of everything like pink and sweet and lovely. It does have a little bit of depth. I can't say that this lasted the longest on me, which is interesting because if you look up reviews, the general consensus is that this has moderate to longevity. That those words even make sense. I think I got about a half a day out of this, but I think it's really pretty for like a date night fragrance. So think like pear and roses and berries meets sugar and vanilla and maybe like a hint of, is there a hint of musk in here? Maybe. Yeah, pretty little bottle. Then we get to a really interesting fragrance that my husband and I share because we both like it a lot. It's Santal Blush by Tom Ford. This reminds me a lot of Dune by Christian Dior. Like if Dune by Christian Dior were leaned very much to the sandalwood direction, you might get something like this. This is a drier, woody fragrance. I think it has even a hint of oud in there, but I get mostly like a dry, woody sandalwood out of this. Has like a hint of creaminess. I realize that that's nowhere in the description, and I realize that creamy and dry do not go together in a description, but somehow that's how I would describe it, like a very round dryness, if that makes sense. There's some interesting notes in here, like I think there's carrot seed and some other just bizarre kinds of notes that you would not expect to like in a fragrance. I don't pick up a lot of the notes in here, except to say that it smells like a really soft, round, dry, yet kind of sort of creamy sandalwood with some woodiness to it. I find it alluring. I do. I find it alluring, and it smells really great on my husband too. It's like a simple sandalwood, if that makes sense. Is it simple or is it complex? Probably simple, and something that I could easily wear every day and out in the evening. So I'm popping in this video because these two fragrances arrived after I filmed the video, and I thought you might be interested in my impressions of them. The first one is Sea Intense. I mean, I like the simplicity of the bottles of the Sea line. I think the original Sea is gorgeous, and anytime I smell it on someone, I find myself running after them and asking what they're wearing. I have the pink version of the line, Sea Fiori, which is absolutely gorgeous. And I also have Sea Intense, the original version that came out in the black bottle. I much prefer this new Intense version to the old black version, which this has something irritating to me in it, and I can't quite put my finger on it. It's not that I don't enjoy wearing it, is that it becomes too much after a while. There's something like sugary, licorice kind of note happening in there that starts to get on my nerves after a while. So this is not one that I reach for often. I find it to be a little bit cloying also. This one, however, I tested last night and did not find cloying at all. I found it really pleasant. Now, some people talk about this being an intense fragrance. I mean, no play on the words. It's part of the name of the fragrance, Sea Intense. I do think that it is a mature fragrance. However, I don't find it intense in the sense that it doesn't overwhelm me. I find it to be very sweet and floral, mostly on the sweet side. It's got a heavy black currant note in it. It opens strong on that like really deep, overly ripe, fruity kind of smell, and that stays through the life of the fragrance, although it does calm down just a little bit. There's rose and davana in here, and then benzoin and patchouli. I don't get patchouli in this at all. This stays very sweet and very what I call womanly, and it reminds me very much of, surprise, Mon Paris Intensement, in the sense that I joked about this being the more grown-up version of your Victoria's Secret girly fragrances. So then this is the even more grown version. This one tells this one, okay, you think you're grown and sexy? Watch this. Hold my beer, Mon Paris Intense. I am really grown and sexy. Moving along, we have from the Maison Margiela replica line, When the Rain Stops. And I just love the bottles, that they look like apothecary bottles. They don't have a top. Actually, that's not true. I hate the fact that they don't have a top, but I do like the bottle, the simplicity of it. And I love these fabric labels. And so this one is a memory of being in Dublin in 1967, fresh rain and sun rays. And all of these are memory in a fragrance, as I know you are familiar by now. Let me just be clear. If you want something that smells like after the rain or right when it's about to rain, actually, there's two. Right when it's about to rain, I would suggest Thunderstorm from Demeter. That fragrance captures, I think it's called the petrichor that's in the air right before a rainstorm hits. Now, after the rain, I would just get rain from Demeter versus this. I don't dislike this. I think if you don't have any of those scents and you're into the replica line, you might be interested in this. I just think there are scents that are truer to that after rain experience versus this fragrance here. So this one has an aquatic accord, rose petals, and pine needles as the keynotes listed on Sephora. And it says, like memories of a spring afternoon when the rain calms, raindrops roll off the windows and the smell of wet earth radiates through the air. This fragrance inspires a fresh start and new beginnings. I just disagree. That's not what I get from this fragrance. First of all, I would rate it as average, and I don't feel like this smells like after the rain. I feel like this fragrance opens very fresh. You get a fresh out of the shower smell, like you have a soap that's geared toward men and you've showered with that. It's a little bit masculine, by the way. This is not a feminine fragrance. So it's fresh and it's light, and you do get some an aquatic accord in the opening. As it settles down, quite frankly, it starts to come across a little bit like a household cleaner that has pine in it, like a pine sol kind of smell, but subtle. And then that settles down into a very soft, actually an aromatic fragrance. Do I think I want to keep this? I'm not sure. I'm leaning toward no. This may end up going back to Sephora. So I would consider this a fragrance that I anticipated loving, and I just don't. I find it meh, rather average. Next, I picked up 6 fragrances finally from Oakcha, which is a sister company to Oil Perfumery, or maybe it's under Oil Perfumery or owned by them. I think it's owned by them because the label had OP on it when it came in the mail. But whatever, Oakcha, and they have a lot of dupe fragrances and some originals. So I want to talk to you about one of the originals that we fell in love with, we meaning myself and my husband. And just real quick, I have my own collection. He has his own, but then there are a handful, maybe more than a handful of fragrances that we both love and share between us. So there were 3 in particular that they were all great. All 6 were fabulous, or are fabulous rather, but there were 3 in particular that impressed me the most. One is called, they come in boxes like this, by the way. One is called Moira or Moira. It is a dupe for Parfum de Marly Herod, which is like a spicy tobacco fragrance, which is beautiful. Love this one. I really liked Desert Glass, which is a dupe for Mojave Ghost from Byredo. I think, you know, I don't buy from Byredo, and you can see other videos for reasons why. Look at the video called Blind Buy Fails and Regrets or whatever. I have an explanation in there. Anyway, this is a really beautiful dupe, much longer lasting, much more potent than Mojave Ghost. Gorgeous. And I did like Mojave Ghost from Byredo, but it didn't last long on me. And then the one that I wanted to share with you is called Modern Oud. All of the bottles look like this, by the way. And Modern Oud impressed both my husband and I. It is a very masculine fragrance, one that if you like sweeter fragrances, if you like feminine fragrances, you would not like this, but maybe you want to check into this for someone in your life that does appreciate more masculine fragrances. I almost stuck that right up my nose. We have problems here, you guys. Over at this house, we have problems. This is, I want to share with you some of the notes. At the top, it comes across to me as a leathery oud, okay? But there's some greenness at the top that I think is really beautiful. Bergamot, green mandarin. There's a saffron note at the top. There's rose and jasmine in the middle. But it's the base that really shines through here. Indian oud, patchouli, vanilla, tonka bean, and musk. Do I get a lot of the vanilla and tonka bean? At least not in this initial try. Maybe this is one that we have to wear for a while. We just sort of sampled it in the kitchen and it was just fabulous. Like it really captured our attention. I just think this is a really elegant fragrance, like I said, that comes across more leathery and oudhy than anything else to me, with some greenness to it, a lot of depth and complexity. A really, really impressive fragrance for it to be a house that prides itself on being a dupe house. Don't sleep on these dupe houses, you guys. They have some really lovely creations. And then, in a stroke of luck, the house of Sillage, a house that I have pretty much sworn off except for one possibility. If you go back to the video I filmed, I think it was last summer, it was like an anti-haul video. I'll link it below for you. I talked about how I would never purchase anything from the house of Sillage because the prices are so ridiculous for what you get. But there was one exception. I said if it ever goes on sale and it has to be half off or more, I was going to jump on it. Well, the stars aligned, and the Mickey Mouse fragrance from House of Sillage was actually half off. And even at half off, it is redonkulously expensive, let's be clear. But I am a Disney fanatic, have always been, have gone to Disney. It feels like every year since I was a little girl, and it just never gets old for me. I'm one of those people. So I wanted to share with you my probably one and only cupcake. I guess I should never say never, right? But I said I would buy this if it went half off, and it did. And this is likely going to be my only cupcake ever. Maybe I'll eat my words one day. But how beautiful is this cute little thing if you are a Disney fan? That is the only reason I would tell you to bother thinking about this, because the fragrance inside, although pleasant, is not worth this money, you guys. Okay, so you get a really, it's okay, maybe I'm lying. It's a pretty coconut fragrance, a delightful, kind of sweet, soft coconut based fragrance. It's a really light, airy coconut. I have to say, this smells a lot like two fragrances that I already have. It smells like Guerlain's Aqua Allegoria Coconut Fizz, a lot like that. And it smells most like Replica's Bubble Bath. If the fragrance in here is what you're after, I would say get Bubble Bath and save yourself a lot of money. If you are a Disney fan like me, and you can't really put a price tag on collectibles like this, you guys, this is just the cutest thing, the cutest thing. No one in my family agrees. I asked my mom and sisters would they be interested in one. I was going to get them one for Christmas, and they were just like, big deal. To me, this is a big deal, and I'm super happy to have this. That's my December 2021 haul. Let me know if you have these fragrances. If so, what you think. And again, I can't say it enough. I hope you have the most blessed holiday season. Take care, friends.